Go. Yeah, what's going on, everybody, man? Sorry I'm a couple of minutes late. My mic was playing around and I needed to get Danny in there to tell me that everything was cool. So, yeah, sorry about that, man. But what's going on to everybody in Arsenal land? And we're here to do justice. We're here to talk about Arteta and the first 10 games. And they're going to have a pretty good look at what we were talking about in the summer when we did the prediction originally, and we've come about now and said that this team was going to be ranging between. If I'm looking at the figures now, actually, let's just bring them up. Let's just bring them up. Before we crack on, though, what's going on with Danny, man? Big shout out to you, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Enjoying the season so far. I weren't too bad on the predictions as well, man. I got a couple of the games wrong, but the point total was not far off, you know.
Yeah,
I did all right. I did all right.
I did peep you there, man, on the points. I said, nah, this brother's getting too close. I dropped off long time ago because I didn't trust them to begin with. So,
I knew, man. I could smell it in pre-season. What did I say? I said we're going to start blowing teams away this year, man. And we did.
You know what done it for me? It was when we beat Chelsea 4-0 in pre-season. I said, nah, bro, no team. Don't matter what, whether it's friendlies or not. When you looked, you know what it was for me? It was the way we played. And it was the body language with Tuchel on the touchline, where he just looked like someone just teeth him gal. He just looked like somebody broke into his house, fling his wife in handcuffs, and then darted out the house with her. That's what he looked like. So like someone stole something. And when I saw that look on his face, I was like, nah, bro, these guys are for real, you know.
They're demoralizing people. You've seen it this season. When's the last time you can remember that we had multiple games on around 70% possession and stuff like that? This is the first time since the peak Wenger years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Since we've had a team this dominant, like maybe the most ever, because this is our best ever start to a season. So this might be our best ever, like most dominant period we've ever had.
And you know, they're talking about the best ever start. So that means not even the Invincibles had a start like this. That's nuts.
Not the double winning team of '98, which I think was our best ever side. We that didn't, you know, that didn't do this.
It's that is nuts, man. Ebony, how are you at the moment?
I'm fine. I'm happy that we're doing well. To be quite honest, I think that we're doing a lot better than I predicted. Like most Arsenal fans predicted, especially against two of the top six. And I just think that, even in pre-season when we did beat Chelsea, that was momentum, that was a monumental win. I know it was pre-season, but still they had their best team out. But, I keep telling people, be optimistic. I always say to people, be optimistic. And, when it got to, Liverpool now, I said to people, we're going to win that. Because the way we're playing, the way we're passing, the way we're defending as well. All right, some of it is a little bit shady. And they said we're going to win, and keep the optimism. That's what you got to keep the optimism. And for the next 10 games, I'm optimistic.
Yeah, because Ebony, actually, when I looked at the figures and we're going to pull them up. Let me get Vincey in there. What's going on with you, Vincey? How are you, bro?
Hey, Vincey.
Yeah, I'm not bad, guys. Evening, family. Evening, guys in the chat. I'm all good, man. Just dealing with life.
Yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see you, man. I know you're busy. Quite a lot of people today had stuff going on. Nabil is knackered. He just sent me a message. Actually, I think he sent me his pics. So let me just try and see if Nabil has sent them. He's right. So he's going to send me his pics. Everybody's just on a ting right now. So, and I haven't even heard from Tony. I ain't even heard from him. So, yeah, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks, Vincey, man. Everybody all right? Family good?
Yeah, man. Families, life is life, and I'm having stuff to deal with. Some things I haven't really been able to see some of the games, but what I have seen, it's been entertaining. That's where it is. I mean, I can get overly hyped about where we are in the league, and how some of our new recruits are playing, and players who are performing outstanding that, you know, I'm bigged up from time, and just happy to see them in the team. And, you know, I mean, right now we just have a team that is playing football that we can appreciate. And, you know, the biggest thing for me is having the blessing of actually going to a game and witnessing it for myself live.
It's all good for you, man. It's good for you, bro.
It's, you know, it makes up for a lot of the pain over the last 3 years. So regardless of whatever happens from here on in towards the end of the season, if you can go to a game, you can recognize that we actually have our Arsenal back. Regardless of actually winning something, we actually have our Arsenal back, because the atmosphere inside of that stadium is sick.
And you know what it is, right? And I have to say this, guys, because when I took Vincey to the Emirates last season, I saw a fire that lit up inside of him. And it was just like, you know, Moses in the burning bush. I just looked at Vincey and I just saw, boy, he looked enlightened. He looked like he had ascended. And then from after that, Vincey turned around to me and Vincey said, you know, Apollo, this is on the menu. I'm going to be back here. I'm going to sort this out. And that's exactly what he's done. You know, so blessed to you, man. But the one thing, Danny, Vincey is always, you know, a lot of people talking about agendas and you know, all of this stuff and whatever. But Vincey from day one has always talked about the performance and the setup and the tactics. That's all he's ever said. Win, lose or draw. He's always said, if I can get those things, then I don't even care about the results, because I know I'm going to be enjoying my football. And I didn't kind of really, I was listening to him, but I didn't hear him. And it wasn't until this summer that I stepped back and I thought, you know what, Vincey's onto something, you know. And that's when I started to say, yeah, I can see what you've been saying for all this time now. I can see what you've been saying for all this time.
Cheers, man.
That's the thing, though, man. Like, people, when you see teams, that is spot on as well, by the way, because when you see teams that are getting results, but they're playing poorly, it always comes undone at some point, You see Tottenham playing like that now, innit, where they're performing poorly, they're horrible to watch, but they're getting results. And we've been like that in the past as well, but it always falls off at some point, man. And this year, you're seeing the performances, you see the dedication, but then you're also getting the results with it. So, like, even the last game, we played badly, to be fair. We looked knackered in that second half, but we still got a result. But other than that, we've been really good this year, man. It's been good to watch.
Yeah, for real. Let me say hello to everybody before we get started, man. And guys, we're not going to drag this. We're just going to get on with it. We're going to look at our predictions and see who was closest and who got it right. And then we're going to go and fly to the next 10 games. And then we're just going to get our overall. Because, you know, there's only a couple of games left, guys, until the World Cup. The World Cup starts next month. So it's it's going to be a crazy scene. I don't know what's going to happen. And for me, I don't really want to lose the momentum. But at the same time, I feel, especially after watching the last 2 games, I can see that the team is a little bit jaded. So some of our players are going to have a difficult World Cup, and some are going to sort of have no international football at all. So we have to see how that works. 18 says, actually, I predicted 23, so not far off. 23, I guess that's yeah, it's not close. I'd say 26 is probably close, and 29, 30, I think that would be close. G says, Jermaine Pennant in his natural habitat. I think January is a hard month, but not impossible. G says, Arteta definitely helped improve Saka's finishing. It was pretty, it was pretty poor before. I remember when it used to annoy me, I thought he was a midfielder. Greetings to you as well, Andrew. Andrew says, need to have a word with Ramsdale, Ebony. It goes, Nabil is back. Cam says, hey, Andrew. He's talking to Andrew. He's saying, what's up, Vincey, my brother? Cam says, Vincey was hard. No, he wasn't hard on Arteta.
Do you know what?
Don't get it twisted, man. Don't get it twisted.
Can I just respond to that? I needed to be hard on Arteta. That's how I play my ball, because I know for what I expect Arteta to do, he did it in those in that first season, that half season he came in, and then he went away from it. When we won the FA Cup, we won the Charity Shield, how we were playing football that next season, he wasn't doing the things that I wanted him to do. So when he started to do those things, you are now seeing the team make those differences. You're seeing the improvement the players are making. And all I can say is I'm entertained. As a footballer, that's how I play ball. What you see them guys doing on the pitch now, the movement, the vision, the passion, that's how I played football. So when I see my team not doing that nonsense, not doing that football, and not trotting out for 90 minutes and not doing it, it's painful for me to watch.
Yeah. I totally agree, bro. I totally agree. So guys, let's start to there's still some more stuff now. 18 is saying Ebony is cooking something, boys. Cam says, imagine having Arteta, Xhaka, Cedric, El Nene, and Holding. Yeah, they're all going for their coaching badges, isn't it? It says, imagine having them all on their stuff of dreams for many here. The wait will be too long for this dream team to happen. Brand new glory days ahead. Not many teams have taken so many of their ex-players and put them as coaches. I can't remember. Definitely not United. Definitely not. It used to be United. I remember Brian Kidd used to be in the mix there with a couple of other guys. But I can't really remember.
United did try it recently when they had Carrot, Giggs. They had was it Phil Neville was there, something like that. One of them was like they had it, and then
Phil,
it all fell off, and then it all fell off. They were rubbish.
I mean, when you look at ours, sorry, go on, Vincey.
I think it'll be interesting to see how El Neni actually goes into his coaching role and how productive he can be, because obviously we know that he can play. So as a midfielder, it'll be interesting to see how he actually implements how he plays football. We've seen it with Mertesacker with the under-21s. So that's what I'm going to be looking to see his pathway, to see how he develops as a coach, because
I expect that to be roughly about the same. It's difficult because Arteta came in talking about he understands Wenger's values, Arsenal's ways, and what the fans want. So I wonder if that is what trickles downhill, if it makes sense. Yeah.
I can see Xhaka and Cedric being the best coaches out of them two. Because if you look at Xhaka, his tactical understanding is mad, It's always him giving the tactical instructions to the boys on the pitch. And Cedric as well. Cedric's a super technical player. So I'm looking at those kind of guys. I think El Neni will be more of like an inspirational guy. Like, like the guy that drags his team on and puts his arm around the boys and all that. But I think I'm looking at Xhaka being the best manager out of all of them, madly.
Right. So guys, Arsenal have ended up with 27 points out of a possible 30. And looking at the scores here, and believe me, I haven't actually caught up with Neomis yet. Neomis was getting some licks from you lot in the first couple of weeks. I was 20, so I was way out. And where I lost it, I think I lost it around Villa. I think I was right about Man United. Crystal Palace, I don't know how we went in there and beat them 2-0. I'm still shocked with that result. The Brentford result, I mean, we pasted them, man. So I can see where I fell off. But as you can see, there was no losses. I was being very cautious on certain teams that we hadn't done really well against. Definitely Man United, definitely Villa, definitely Liverpool at Anfield. Actually, no, that's home. That's home, right? And the fact that we hadn't beaten them in nearly 4 years, let alone scored a goal in the last 7 games against them. So I was giving us no hope there. And obviously Palace. So you can see I was being cautious. There was no losses, but I was just being heavily cautious. Neomis just threw you lot to the lambs, man. Neomis just said, no, he wasn't having it. Danny, though, talk us through that, Danny. 23 points.
I still got a couple wrong though. I still got Liverpool wrong, but that was based on the same thing you said. We ain't scored against them for 2 years, bruv. Like something like that. It's like 2 years since we last scored a goal against them. So that was quite. Spurs is always a tough game. Like I got that wrong as well. But the United game I knew would be tough. Certain games I predicted to be difficult, like the Fulham game. I said that was going to be a difficult game, and it was a difficult game. Fulham are better than people think. So yeah, I'm sort of happy. But then when I'm looking at Tony and Ebony, they're going to be bantering us, boy.
For real, man, for real. Nabil came in at 23 as well, so you can see again strong start, but it's at the end where Nabil sort of falls off. He just doesn't trust it against the bigger teams, and obviously Brentford. We know, I don't know what's happened to Brentford. They're still going to survive in the league, and Tony's just going crazy for them at the moment. But I can see definitely where he fell off here. Bertram, I actually haven't had any points from Bertram. I have messaged him. I'm still waiting for him to get me his points. Bertrand was quite consistent. Man United, he was cut again. The only people that said we was going to beat Man United was Nabil, Tony, the African Guna, and Ebony, and Vincey and Tom. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people are being very cautious because it's the Old Trafford thing. Tony, man, was so close. Wow, Tony. You can see the Leeds thing right there. You see how he went? Yeah, Tony said Ellen Road. He was the only person. And, you know, before we beat them, they'd played 4-1-4. So, you know, I can see where Tony was, man. The African Guna, 25 years, certainly did way better than I did. But Ebony, it looks like Ebony was the closest.
Yeah, I think Tom was quite close as well, but then he's got 30.
Yeah,
but Tom just went win. Come on, man. Anyone could do that, bro.
I can promise you guys, Tom didn't do that for the next 10 games. I can just promise you.
Okay, but like I think Ebony and Tony deserve the trophy because they're 1 point either side, man. You get me? We've got 27 and they're right either side.
United just scored.
Oh wow! Okay,
against Tottenham.
Against Tottenham, yeah. That is big. That is big.
Bro, I'm a proper Red Devil right now. I'm telling you, I'm a United stan right now. That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's at Old Trafford, isn't it?
Yeah. Boy, let's keep that toasted until we end the stream. So yeah, Ebony, talk us through that 28
deflection.
Yeah. It's all about being optimistic. I mean, you know, against Man United, because they weren't playing their best and then we turn up, you know, it's always a case of we turn up and they play out of their skin. But then again, the referee gave them the chances. The amount of fouls that a lot of their players, particularly McTominay, were committing, it's just like, you know, the referee just didn't. The referee was their 12th man. Yeah.
When you talk about the disallowed goal from Martinelli, which set the tone, that really killed us.
Yeah, it wasn't a disallowed goal for me. It wasn't even a foul. Some people are saying it's a foul. To me, it wasn't a foul. But hey ho, that's past. But as for the rest of the games, I mean, a couple of the games I would say that we rode our luck pretty badly, although we won. Particularly Leeds, we were poor, I have to admit. I managed to end up watching a chunk of the highlights, and we were poor. You know,
I think it was more of a matter that Leeds were very good.
Yeah, they were very good. They got their tactics right.
They beat Chelsea there 3-0. They beat Chelsea there 3-0.
Yeah, exactly. We weren't poor in that game. You know, we were not poor against Leeds. The first half, we were good. We deserved to be in the lead after the first half. Yeah, what it was is the second half, after playing midweek in the AstroTurf with most of our first team players taking part in that game in some way, we got knackered at the second half, and Leeds have got bags of energy, so they just outran us, and that was literally the difference in the second half. They outran us, and they put Bamford on. We weren't bad in that game, man. We played good. Anyone who watched the first half, we played good, man.
Yeah. Brentford, I mean, you know, Liverpool was a tricky one. I mean, I was optimistic wasn't optimistic enough.
I wasn't. I wasn't.
I was actually optimistic that we'll get a draw, but you know, the way we played against Liverpool, you know what? I think it's because, you know, somebody like Salah wasn't really, from what I can remember, he wasn't, because they're playing with wingers now. You know, he's not getting as much of the ball as, you know, as Liverpool would do, or as he would do if it was a 4-4-2. But
Tommy Yasu made sure Salah wasn't in that game.
yeah,
Yeah,
Tommy
that's
Yasu had a
right,
lot to do
yeah.
with it. You know, in actual fact, the back four had a lot to do with it. But, you know, I was optimistic enough for a draw, but, you know, we ended up winning. Yes, it was a penalty, but never mind about that. Spurs, I was in Portugal at the time, and then I eventually managed to watch the highlights, not on YouTube, but, you know, on a club television. And we battered them all over the place. Really. So, but we always beat them at home anyway. As for the rest, it's just optimism. And the way we're playing now, you know, because it's a year on, everyone's a year older, everyone's got a year's more experience. I think this team is gelling now. But I don't want to say too much because I tend to, you know, get batted up on social media. So, but yeah. But yeah, you can see the experience now.
As Ebony famously says here on the podcast, don't at her, yeah? Lewis got 23, so again, he did better than I did. He fell off a lot on the latter part and got quite of the early stuff, right? Vincey was the same as me, 20 points. Vincey, talk us through yours.
I find these very hard because, you know, to pick 10 games in advance when you don't know how the team's actually going to play against, you're hoping that opponents are going to play the way you expect them to play. So when you see them, the way how we turn out, and, you know, it's refreshing to see that, but then you see other teams really struggle to get their games going on. It's like, I look at the 20 and I think, yeah, it's cautious picking 20. But, you know, I look at I was at that Villa game and I believe we should have scored more goals in the first half and it was close to being a draw. But we came out of there with a win. So, you know, right now, I think it's testament to the way how the belief in the squad, the belief that Jesus and Zinchenko have brought to the team, and the way how Arteta is setting up each game and using the subs, that we're in this position where, you know, we top of the league, and, you know, it's making a mockery of most of our 10 games predictions because, you know, the players have performed and Arteta's managed, and that's the biggest thing that I can take from this. You know, I'm glad they're proving me wrong by getting more points than what I predicted. You know, that's the way I want it. That's the way I want it to happen, you know?
Exactly. Same here. And then obviously Tom got 30, so he was very, very close as well along. So really it looked like Ebony was the closest. Tony was up by 1 point. No, Ebony and Tony were the closest. They were both up by 1 point. And then Tom and then the African Gooner. Yeah.
Is there a prize? Is there a prize?
Is there a prize? Yeah, it means you're just smarter than us. Speaking of prizes, guys, before I go into the predictions now, you'd all have noticed that this sign that comes up here, which gives you the details about donating to the channel. So if any of you guys donate to the channel, you go automatically inside of a prize draw to win a free Arsenal away shirt. So at the moment, we've had 9 people that have come in and donate. Actually, no, 11 people that have come in and donated to the channel. So it is going to run up until the end of this month. So you've still got a couple of weeks left. That being said, let's now, some good news here. Andrew's saying Brentford 0, Chelsea 0. It's a good result. Someone's got to slow Chelsea down. They're revitalizing. Is that a full-time score? Bournemouth 0. Yeah, and that doesn't really bother us. But Liverpool 1, West Ham 0. Again, these Chelsea and Liverpool, I think, are starting to gain some strong momentum. You know, those teams are coming. But I kind of think about it in the terms of we don't need to worry about. If we're not behind anybody, we're ahead. So as long as we keep on winning, we don't care. We don't care. We let them, let them be like the Tories and the Republicans. Let them just eat each other alive. Yeah, let them eat their own, because I don't really care about any of the other stuff. If we was in a different position, then I would say, yeah, those things matter to us. But these results only matter to them because we're out there. And as long as we keep winning, yeah, that's all that we need to care about. So let's bring up the live sheet of the next file so we can do our predictions. So here we are. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Yeah. So this is the new sheet, guys. As you can see, it's like I'm not even learning any lessons from this damn thing, man. Am I going to have to change it? Because look, I'm already last. I've got the African Goon at 24. I've got Tom. So Tom is on 24. So man started to take this seriously now after he went with Bear wins. A lot of Facebook people are putting their names in. Let me get this down. So James has gone for 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Oh, James has gone for a perfect 30. So James is doing a Tom. James is doing a Tom. Oh Lord. So
I think just gonna say, Apollo, I think what will be interesting is to see the leading goal scorers, the tally, because I think we were expecting Jesus to score more goals than what he has. So, that's going to be an interesting to see how that actually pans out.
Yeah, for real. Andrew says, if I no win, we want a donation returned. That's funny. That's funny. I've already bought the shirt, bro. So I hope everybody's can fling on an extra large.
Or shrink it in a wash.
Yeah, tell me about it. So guys, here we're gonna have a look at now. So I can't keep this here, Danny. I gotta change something. You know what? I'm gonna have us beat West Ham because that's at home. So I'm gonna put a win for us there at West Ham. Brighton away, I don't like that. I don't like it. Tottenham away. You know what? I think we can win at Tottenham, because that chain hasn't been broken for years.
What's the date of that game? Is that before the World Cup or after?
It's that's a good question. I think it's after.
When is the World Cup?
It's after. The World Cup's from the 18th of November to the 18th of December.
So the first game.
So what game of that is that? When is the last game before the World Cup?
I believe it's the Brighton game.
So Brighton, then we go to the World Cup, then we come back to Newcastle home.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try and peep it so that I can get a better understanding. Here we are. Nottingham Forest. Where are we here? Come on. Right. So
Wolves is the last game for the World Cup.
Yeah, Brighton is the 31st of December. So Brighton's the last game of the year. So the new year starts with
Wolves is the last game before the World Cup.
That's right, yeah. So that would be this one. So we've only got 4 more games until the World Cup. So, oh wow, okay. Some more. Andrew's saying that Arsenal women are up 5-1 against Lyon. That's a really good result. So guys, I don't know. Am I going to leave mine at 24? If we drop, so if I'm saying we're only going to drop 6 points in the next 10 games, and we've already got a 4-point lead, you know what that means, Danny? That means that we're still going to be top of the league after the next 10 games.
Parade in March.
Yeah. Because there's no way Man City is going to go and win 10 games in a row from here on outwards. Next 10 games.
I beg you don't tempt fate like that.
Yeah,
City can do a 10-game winning streak. They can do that.
It's going to be tough, man. In this day and age, it's going to be tough. Especially they got to play us as well. Yeah, it's going to be tough, man. And remember, they got to play Spurs. Spurs have beaten them 4 times in the last 6 games.
That'll change.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. All right, guys.
Struggling.
I think I'm good with 24. I'm happy with 24. Danny, let's get your picks.
I haven't even thought about this, but okay. Southampton win.
Yeah.
I can't see us losing that. I think Nottingham Forest will win as well. That's at home as well. Chelsea, put it this way, we're winning up until the World Cup. So up to Wolves, and this is where it becomes unpredictable.
So West Ham at home.
We do not know what's going to happen at the World Cup that's going to affect our team. That's what I really don't like. So it's like, are we going to come back firing, or are we going to come back disjointed, injured players, also Saka a broken leg in the World Cup or something? We don't know, innit? So I'll just go with what I think. I think we'll beat West Ham. I think we'll beat Brighton.
Brighton away? Are you mad?
Yeah. Brighton ain't the same. They got Potter. They've started falling off now. The first couple games after Potter left, they were sick. And then now they've started to fall off a little bit. So I think we'll beat Brighton away. Newcastle at home, that's the toughest game so far, other than Chelsea away.
If that's at the Emirates, then I'm not worried about it, mate. I'm not.
Remember, January transfer window. Who knows who they're gonna buy? Brighton sign Mbappe and Lionel Messi from PSG.
Listen, the Emirates is a different animal right now with the fans in there. It's but
this is not right now, Apollo. This is like January times, isn't it? Like this is like January or February, maybe. No, January. So I'll go for a win there. I'm turning into Tom, boy. I think
he's the man nearly perfect.
I think we'll draw at Spurs. It's sad to say. I think we could win, but it's 50-50. We'll beat United at home. Especially after that away game, we're going to be fuming. They're going to get it, bro. They are going to get it.
They are.
Oh, Man City. And
this can make it break you. If you're saying we beat them, then you're saying 28 out of a possible 30. That's a mad thing, you know.
I think I don't want to say what I think because it's the first negative. I think we're going to lose that game. So 25 is.
Yeah, because it's at home as well, so it doesn't really matter whether it's at home or away, is it? It's just always going to be a tough game.
But all of my so the Tottenham game, I could see us winning that. I could see us winning the City game. I could see us losing or drawing the Chelsea game. We don't know. So, but that's what I think will happen.
That's a fair shout. That is a fair shout. Let me see if Nabil. I think I've just got a message there. It says Nabil sent me his picks. He might have. Nabil's tired, man. When I talked to him, he was falling asleep. So I think he's hit the bed. So I'm going to get his picks later. Bertram hasn't messaged me back as well. Unless let me check my WhatsApp. No, he hasn't messaged me. Tony as well. I haven't heard from Tony all evening, which is very strange. Very unlike Tony. Let me just find out what's going on with Tony.
Wow, man, you are battering Tottenham, innit? 23 shots to 7, bro.
That's poor. That's poor.
that's a proper sound battering from back in the day, man. The African Gooner has put his points in, so he's gone for 24, which is exactly the same as me. But where I went for a win at Chelsea away, he's gone for a draw. And when I've gone for a draw away at Brighton, he's gone for a win away at Brighton.
We'll beat Brighton, man. We'll beat them.
Of course.
Yeah, and that's where the difference is. Ebony.
Right. Southampton is always tricky at St Mary. But I'm going to go for a win. And it's going to be a tough win. Nottingham Forest. Bye. Bye, boys. Chelsea away. That could be a tricky affair because they've now got Aubameyang, and I think that the players will be up for the fact that he's bad-mouthed Arteta. So I'm going to go for a win.
So all right. So let me explain something with this Chelsea game. Right, we humiliated them in pre-season.
We'll do it again.
beat them. We beat them. Here's the joke, guys. We beat them twice last year. 3-1 at our place and 4-2 at their place. Yeah? You don't think that they ain't got an axe to grind against Arsenal, who are top of the league?
Concern. That's not our concern.
They're going to be up for it. That's what I'm saying. They're going to be hungry.
We're going to be up for it as well. So it's going to be a win at Stamford Bridge.
Wolves away.
Wolves are tough, man. Wolves
they can't score though.
Beasts. They've got some beasts.
Mind you, at that point, they're going to get Neto and Jimenez back. They're going to get all their scorers back. But right now, they can't score.
Yeah. I'm going to go for a draw with that one.
Okay.
West Ham win. Brighton, that's one of our banana skins, isn't it?
It is.
Is it? I'm going to go for a draw with that one.
Yeah, I think we lost twice in the last 3 games at their place. We don't do well over there in Brighton.
That's
Newcastle at home?
Newcastle at home, I'm going to go for a win. I'm going to go for a win at the Toilet Bowl.
That's breaking the chain right there. You hear that, people? You hear that, people? That's breaking the chain. Because Tottenham always beat us at their place, and we always beat them at the Emirates. And as I said, someone's got to break the chain.
United, we'll want revenge, so that'll be a win. And Man City, I'm gonna go all out. I'm gonna go for a win.
Right.
I just want to say, I agree with Danny's sentiments about the World Cup, because whenever we have the World Cup or whenever we have any type of international competition, and even like club competition, we tend to have injuries, and I'm quite mindful that once the team get back, there's going to be a little bit of fatigue, considering that it's still hot in Qatar in November, December. It's still hot, so that heat could actually get to their physique. I don't know. Maybe they'll recover by the time they get back to cold England, and they'll get used to playing in the cold again. I don't know. I'm not an expert. However, I am mindful of that. So I'm keeping optimistic. There might be a couple of banana skins other than the ones that I have pointed out. But those are my predictions.
So this is mad, people, because right now we've got me on 24, Danny on 25, African Goon on 24, Ebony on 26. And again, so you're saying, Ebony, we're going to go unbeaten in our next 10 games?
Yes.
Wow, okay. And we'll only drop 4 points. So again, City would have to win every single match if they're going to even think about.
Well, Man City are not invincible. We saw that last week, even with Haaland. So they're going to lose matches. They're going to lose matches.
So Lewis was supposed to be here today, so I don't know what's happened to him at the moment. I do know he's got to wake up extra early in the morning, so he was supposed to send me his picks. Vincey.
Okay, so I'm going with a Southampton 2-1 home win.
Yeah.
I'm going with a 3-0 Nottingham Forest home run.
Yeah.
Chelsea 2-2.
Okay. That's going to be a draw.
Arsenal away at Wolves will get a 1-0 win. I haven't totaled this up, by the way.
Yeah, it's all right. He's doing it for you.
West Ham 3-2 home win.
Home win, yeah.
Now, initially, I did go 2-1. Fernandes just scored. So it's 2-0 Spurs. 2-0 Man U.
Oh, that is unbelievable.
Come on, bro.
Andy's not going to be happy. He's not going to be happy tonight, man. Mind you, but remember, we still got a game in hand, though, innit? So
exactly. What's Jamie O'Hara going to say now, boys? And go.
Tuning in.
Jamie O'Hara chats the most garbage.
Oh, they're not giving us credit. We're as good as Arsenal. I don't think so, but especially with a game in hand.
Mad.
Yeah, I went with a 3-2 Arsenal win at West Ham.
I've just done Brighton.
At home,
okay.
yeah. So Brighton away. Initially, I did put a 2-1 away victory. I may actually put that down as a draw.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it, Vincey. Don't do it, man.
Vince is rubbing his beard right now. Actually, you know what? Let me put on Sky Sports here so that I can see the data.
I'm going to put it down as a draw.
Is there a game on Sky Sports, guys?
No, they're all on Prime Video.
Oh, right, okay. That's even better. I've got Prime on here. Right.
I'm just watching. Is that Millwall versus Watford, and Millwall are 3-0 up?
It's Danny. The reason why I'm going for a draw is not that fact that Brighton are going to cause. Brighton have to get points, so it's not like I don't think they're going to beat us, but they need to get something out of the game, and I just have a feeling that we might struggle in some of our away games. So that's why I'm probably going to stick with a draw. I'm going to stick with a draw on that one.
Right, so Man U Spurs, here I am. Right, I'm locked in now. Right, I'm locked in. Yeah, I'm locked in.
Can I just say on that game there, yeah? Man United have had as many shots on target as Tottenham have had shots. They are getting muller rice, bro. They're getting put in a blender.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. That's made my night, man. I'm smiling right now. Right, so Vincey, so you a draw against Brighton. What about Newcastle at home?
Newcastle 2-0 at home.
Okay. Did I just give us 4 points here? That's wrong. Yeah, go on.
I'll take 4.
Tottenham away.
I'm going to go with the 1-1. 1-1.
Ooh, 1-1. I'm just seeing the replay of Fernandez's goal there. Why have I got subtitles coming up? Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. Amazon Prime is my wife's thing. So I just got to take subtitles off. All right. It's all on my Xbox, though. Yeah, so Man United at home.
Now, I actually put that United will beat us at home 2-1.
What?
Because I'm just looking at United, it's not because I'm watching the game, but tonight's evidence of what this United team can do. You know what I mean? When they click, and you saw what they did against us.
Oh yeah,
it's not like they kicked us off the pitch. It's just some.
No, but Vincey, we more did that to ourselves.
And that's the
counter attack, yeah.
And that's the thing is United games. You can't predict them because it's United, and it's just frustrating. It hurts me to say we'd lose against United because we've got the better team and we play better football, but that's not the way how some results end up going. So,
boy, this league table is looking tasty now, guys. Look at Tottenham, 1 game played more and 4 points behind. I'm loving this thing, Danny. I'm loving this thing right here.
I think I'll stick with a 2. I think United will do the double over us. It will hurt us, but I don't think it will change our end league position. So 2-1 United. So that's the difference.
Excellent. So 2-1 United. So that's a loss, and then the last game is Man City.
I'm going to go with we're beating Man City 2-1.
Right.
Wow.
Bomba.
And I did put the Everton game, but I think you've put Everton 4th of February.
Yeah, the reason why I've done that is because that's going to be pushed out because the Man City game has to be played.
Okay.
Regardless. So I did want to say before I started the stream that obviously it's been a near perfect start for us guys, who's won 9 in the first 10 games. But the Manchester City postponement, which was actually supposed to be played tonight, considering Arsenal have 4 games left to play this month, we ain't going to see it. and then there's going to be the World Cup in November. It's unlikely that they're going to play City before the new year. So,
Apollo, you got spam you got spam coming in with this.
Yeah, some dodgy spam, boy. Delete.
Hold on.
I dealt with it.
Nice one, T. Nice.
Cheers, thanks.
Again. Keep an eye on it, buff.
Right, here we go. Yeah, okay, there we go. Right, so yeah, it's basically the start of the Premier League is going to be on the 26th of December on Boxing Day, so it leaves no time available for anything to happen this year. So Man City's game is going to fall into next year. January is going to be the earliest opportunity that game's going to be played.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is a bit of a
I think
shame.
we'll beat them. At home, I think we'll beat them.
Okay, so let me just pull this up because it's gone bright. Okay, here we are. We have power again. So Vincey, you're coming in at 21.
Yeah, I may have to change that. I'm not happy about that, bright.
No, was I? Because when you first came on the stream, I was at 21 as well. I said, no, I can't do that, man. So I've got mine up a little higher. Chelsea away. You said we get a draw.
You know what?
It's that Brighton game that's doing you in, fam.
I'm leaving that Brighton game as it is. I'm going to change that Chelsea game to a win.
Nah, bro, it's the Man United at home game that's doing him in, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's the United at home in front of the Emirates, the fortress. That's
I'm
what's
serious.
doing you in.
I actually think we're going to have a great season, but a team's going to do the double over us. And so far, right now, it's only United.
So I'll change the Chelsea one then, yeah? Or the Brighton one?
Yeah, change the Chelsea to win.
Okay. So now that's a little bit more respectable now, 23. Mr. Cox, how you doing, bro?
Good afternoon, good evening.
Good
morning
afternoon.
if you're in the other part of the world.
Excellent, man. Tony, where you at?
So I've just finished my boxing podcast reviewing a plethora of fights from the weekend gone. As if you didn't know already, I was at the big event at the O2 with Shields, Marshall, Baumgardner, Mayer.
I saw your picture on Facebook.
Yeah. Me and Clarissa got kind of close.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see the photo. Nice.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, all up in Bentley business,
Kind
everything.
of close, eh?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Like me and Clarissa, we're close.
Yeah, I heard that. That's awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome. So Tony, we've got your thing here, bro. You want to run us down?
Yeah, let's do it, bro. Let's do it.
First of all, we did review the last sheet, and it was you and Ebony who were both the closest. You had 26, she had 28, and we finished on 27 points.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so well done for that. Obviously, you and Ebony getting that right. So we're looking now. Ebony has gone for 26 today.
Okay,
So,
let's get into it. Let's get
give us a
straight in.
rundown. Southampton.
That's going to be an away win 3-1.
Yep.
Nottingham Forest, we're going to blast them at home 3-0.
Yep.
Chelsea away. I'm going to call that a loss.
Okay. Yep. I told you guys, Chelsea's gonna. Yeah, boy. After how we've humiliated them.
Yeah. Wolves away. I'm going to call that a win. They're all over the place at the moment.
Yep.
West Ham at home, we win that.
Yep.
Brighton away, potential banana skin, but I think we come away with a sneaky win.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Potential banana skin. This is a tough one. Newcastle at home.
See, I don't think any home game is. Look what we did to Liverpool. If we could beat Liverpool in the Emirates, I don't think anybody. This is what I said to Danny and Vincey. Yeah, I don't see anyone coming in there trying to buoy us up. That's gonna be a hard thing, man. I don't know. Look at Danny smiling now because he can hear me, man. Danny's feeling me right now. Danny's feeling me. The Emirates, bro. If you've been in that stadium like I have, for every single game. There's a different kind of energy, man. No team wants to walk inside that stadium. Not with them fans.
Okay, so Brighton was Brighton's the first. No, West Ham's the first game after we come back from the World Cup. That's a Boxing Day game.
Yeah.
Then we play 4 days later against Brighton away. Sneak that one. Jeez.
Hurricanes
That's
getting
2 days later, bro. So
But the Newcastle game's 2 days after the Brighton game.
Yeah.
Optimism. Optimism.
31st, and Newcastle game is the 2nd, Monday, the 2nd of January.
Yeah, it's a
that is mad. That's mad, you know, bro. That's changed my opinion on that game.
But listen, Danny, it's mad for them as well because everybody's going to be playing 3 games that week.
Is their game before that at home? Because if they got to travel from Newcastle 2 days, that's gonna F them up.
Yeah, they're definitely. You know what? Someone tells me they're gonna end up with an extra day or something, because to play 2 games in 2 days. Jeez.
I beg you read out Andrew's comment to Tony, please. I beg you read it out. I'll put it on the screen.
2-0 United, buff.
Tony.
31st, they're playing at home. They're playing Leeds at home, fam. Newcastle are playing Leeds at home on the 31st.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, man.
That's all right, Andrew. That's all right.
Newcastle have got it harder than us. Put it that way.
You know, certain men, right? They should stop this flitting around between women. Yeah. Which side is your butter buttered on? Which side is your bread buttered on, Andy Roach?
And lock it down.
Because,
Hey, this is 101.
Listen,
We can't lock
name.
it down, bro. This is 101. We can't lock it down. Oh my God, look at this. Oh, I'm so dead.
Oh boy. Backing out.
Oh, Lordy D.
Don't make me choke on my slur.
Chat walls.
And you know, he nearly gave up last week because he was like, "No, she has to have a man. She can't.
Okay.
She got to have a man." Ebony said, "No,
so-
man." Ebony said, "I'm chilling."
I think the fact that Newcastle are at home and then travel far to get down to us 2 days later actually favours us, because our trip to Brighton ain't as bad as their trip down to London.
That's what I said to Danny. It's happening to us, but it's also happening to them.
No, I agree. And plus, they're playing Leeds as well. Leeds are going to knacker them out, fam. Like, they're going to tire them out. And that's a North East derby.
Can I just put a spin on this? Let me just put a spin on this. If you think about, when you were a child and you played the game every single day and you didn't get tired, just try and apply that to the team.
Yeah, it's a different kind of energy though, isn't it? With the way how they run now. They reckon, I was looking at this, the average team, the average player is about 11 kilometers. That's the average. 10 years ago, it was 6. So what that tells you is that the teams in today's game is running twice as much as they did 20 years ago when Wenger's sort of invincibles were start to make their dominance.
That's a lot of running. 11 kilometers is how many miles?
Well, it's about 7.2.
9 miles, something like that.
About 7.2, I think. Yeah.
It's a lot of running.
So could you imagine that? Could you imagine Arteta's Arsenal run twice as hard as Wenger's Invincibles? That's nuts.
That's mad.
Insane. That's insane.
And right now, what's our goal tally in comparison to how it was when Wenger was there? Because I think our goals might have dropped if we run more.
Again, so this is like saying how good was Carl Lewis in comparison to how good Usain Bolt was. This different times, because when I look at Wenger's points, they went unbeaten. And, you could win the Premier League with like 79, 80 points them days. Now, we're talking 100 points. We're saying if you don't get triple figures in this league. You ain't winning the. Look what happened with Liverpool last year, 99 points.
Bro,
And
the
you don't win?
Invincibles had 90. The
They did,
Invincibles
but
had 90.
but
No, but
that
I'm
wouldn't
saying
even make
now that
them
gets
runners up.
passed every year. Like
Yeah,
to win
yeah.
the league, you have to get 90 plus.
That's
the
what I'm
standard.
saying. That's you see where I'm going with the Carl Lewis, Usain Bolt thing. We're in a
But
different era.
I do think that back then you could play the way Arsenal, the Invincibles played. Right now, if the Invincibles played the way right now in this league, we weren't pressing like that. So this is where there's got to be a trade-off in the game. You know, this is where you see if it is a case where we're not scoring as many goals, that's a viable trade-off because you have to run those yards in the league where it is right now. So, you know, and that's credit to Arteta and the boys.
I mean, it's got to a point now where, you know, I'm a big Formula One fan, and as soon as somebody comes out with technology, everybody jumps on it because no one wants to give away advantage. Football has changed like that now, where everyone's looking at the rondo, everyone's closing down teams, everyone's playing out the back. Look how many teams. Remember when we were saying, oh, there's only a few teams now that play out the back. That was only 5 years ago. Yeah, when Emery took over. Now everyone's playing the ball out the back. Everyone's trying to get a goalkeeper that can distribute the ball with his feet. So, and everyone, well, not everybody, but most teams, I would say 70-80% of teams are pressing. So it's a different game now. Because why? Because that's what Man City, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, PSG, that's what those guys have been doing to be dominant in the game. So now everybody's following that philosophy. It's just how sports is. Sport evolves over time. Do you see what I'm saying?
Manuel Neuer was the guy that made everyone start doing that. Like, if you think about how at Bayern he brought in that super keeper era of this time, and then everyone, and that was Pep still, wasn't it? It was Pep. That was still Pep.
It was, but I just want to say 2 words to Vinci. Dino's off. I say no more.
Yeah, I know about Dino's off, the Italian goalie and all that, but I'm saying people have done it before, but in this modern era, the reason why everyone's playing like that is because of Pep. He did it with Victor Valdez at Barcelona. He did it with Noah at Bayern, and then now he's doing it with Edison here, and then Alisson is doing it at Liverpool. But really, Pep he don't get credit because he's always got the big budgets and that, but we wouldn't have Arteta if we didn't have Pep. You know what I'm saying? It's like he is kind of the Wenger or Ferguson of this era. That he's the guy that's influenced the whole league. I guess you could say he's the Wenger because that's what Arsene Wenger did for us, innit? So.
Exactly. Tony,
he's got away with it for time.
Newcastle at home.
I'm gonna go with a win there. Sneaky win.
Okay. Tottenham away.
That's another win.
Yeah, Tony on 21 already. Man United at home. He's doing what Danny's doing. He's doing what Danny's doing. Look at this. Look at this. No.
Stop doing maths, Tony.
Man's pulling a Danny on the live stream, you know. Hey, all I can say to you is, when was the last time you went to the Emirates? That should tell you what the result of that would be.
Exactly.
No,
I was there.
Yeah, I'm going with a win.
Yeah, nobody wants to come there, man. Right, Tony. The moment of truth. Now, this game. So hear this now. Hear this. If you're saying at this point we get 24 out of a possible 24 points leading into this game, that means mathematically we will still be top of the league. So this game could be a game changer for the title.
How much do you think will be ahead at that point? If you said earlier you don't think City would go unbeaten.
Not a chance. Not 10 games. No, not 10 games.
You don't think City can go 10 games unbeaten?
No, I don't think they will. No.
That's what I said. Bruv. Like
not
City,
the games that they've got.
Not happening.
this City team go on 15-game winning streaks, bruv. Like
For
they've
real.
done it in the last few seasons, like,
Yeah, they can.
and now
do
they've
it.
got Haaland.
If any team can do it, it's City.
Hold on. I just want to put that down there so that I can remember it for my own reference. Because you guys could be
You're gonna
right.
pull it out on us later on, anyway.
Yeah, I'm just typing it in there so that I don't forget it.
Can I just throw my hat? Can I just throw a spanner in the works? Man City are not going to go 15 games unbeaten.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I think it's really down to us. Remember what I said to you guys about not looking backwards? If we just look forwards and look at each game as a win and progressively, look, man, I have never once this season talked about us being title contenders, but I think it could happen. I think you got to seriously start looking at it now.
So
I think
are
you
you saying
have to have that discussion.
Are you saying that at this point in the season, this run of games is going to really give Arsenal the base to push on to be title contenders? Or are you saying the next 10 games after this, we're going to drop off? Because this level of form is that you're quoting here, 26 out of a possible 30 is championship winning form.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying straight off. You're saying right now.
Yeah.
That's what everyone's saying. We're top of the league after over a quarter of the season. If you're title contenders at this current point, like we are title contenders, no one can say you're not when you're top of the league. But
no. But what I'm saying is that at the hardest stage is not the start of the season. It's right now. These next 10 games is the hardest stretch to put yourself in the position. And I mean, that's going to be impressive if we can pull off 26 plus. It really would be.
So far, we're only like 2 points apart. Maximum.
The reason why he's right, the reason why Vince is right, I told Tony on the Friday Night Premier League show, I said Arsenal now are going to be playing with a target on their back.
Yeah.
Every single team that plays this team are going to want to take them down because they are the de facto team in the league right now. They are the model team. They are the Premier League. Everyone's talking about them. Every podcaster, every pundit, every sports show, they are the target men. So every team that come into playoffs, every opposition is going to run harder, play harder, be more physical, be up for it because Arsenal are the top team. It's going to be, for that reason and that reason alone, it's going to be the hardest time for Arsenal.
It's another Leicester scenario.
But can I just say something? Yeah, like a couple of the points you made there. So, you know, that target on the back thing, that's why I think last season's going to come in handy because as you've seen this season, we appear to have grown from our experience at the end of last season, right? And we had teams chasing us for the top four and we bottled it, innit? Like, be real, at the end of the season, we bottled it. So you learn from your experiences like that. And that's why I think this team might be able to withstand it a bit longer than we would have otherwise. And yeah, I can't remember what else you said, but like that, basically, I think that experience is going to do us some good in terms of this run-in here.
It's a double-edged sword as well, Danny, because you have to remember now that these boys have turned to men, and that's going to be a challenge now. Arteta's going to challenge their manhood. He's going to be like, guys, if you get halfway through the season and you're still top of the league, that's only going to make you play harder. That's only going to make everything your manager's saying to you now is going to be the gospel because you're like, this guy has led us to the top. Listen to every single word he says. Do everything he says in training. Make sure you drop down dead for this guy. You see what I'm saying?
Also, teams are going to, like, you know, you said people are going to play harder against us, yeah? The opposite could also be true. You know why? No one wants to play Arsenal right now. We remember when Vieira and Thierry Henry were there. Teams would look at us in the tunnel and lose the game. You know, like Mike Tyson before a fight, like man watch boxing. Yeah, he would know he's beaten you before the fight. He would look in your eyes and see the fear, and you're done. Game over. That's what we have some of that fear factor back. We haven't had that for years. Teams are always like, oh, we can target Xhaka, we can target Guendouzi, we can target Socrates or Mustafi, and we can get away in that way. Now, who are you going to pick? Who are you going to target? Because even if you target Gabriel, you're going to get a shoulder or something in your face, bruv. Like, this guy don't play. He fought of 2 armed robbers without a weapon.
Didn't I say this to you on Friday, Tony? I said to you, who's the weakest link in Arsenal? If you're telling me Gabriel is the weakest link, well, he was our strongest player last season. Yeah, he won more player of the month than the player of the months than any other player. Yeah, he had 5 goals. Added 5 goals. He was one of our strongest performers. If you're telling me that Arsenal's strongest performer from last season is actually their weakest link this season, then I think we're in a good place. If you're telling me that that's our weakest link,
I think our weakest link right now, and it's only going to be for one game, is when Jesus picks up his next yellow card. That's going to be a big test. Whoever that goes up to, and I hope it's not against a team that, like a Chelsea or whatever, because that's gonna be a huge test for the team to come out and see what they can do for 90 minutes without him. They pass it, then you know what, we're flying.
Yeah,
I strongly believe that. I know everybody's going to come at me at this, but Nketiah will actually step up.
Oh, of course. I was just about to say the same thing. You know what makes me laugh, Danny? Yeah. Jesus scored 5 goals in his first 8 starts this season. Exactly the same amount as goals as Eddie last season when he came on. 5 goals in 8 starts. So you paid 45 million for this guy. And look, granted, Jesus does a lot more. Yeah. And to an extent, so does Eddie defensively. But Eddie doesn't have the ball skills that Jesus has. Eddie surprised me with his hold-up play. Eddie's got surprisingly good hold-up play. But in terms of production, yeah, and I think Jesus should have scored more than 5 goals. But then that's just
and
me.
He's got 3 assists. Jesus
Yeah.
got 3 assists as well. So really 8 goal contributions in 8 games.
And that's where he improves over Nketiah, because Nketiah doesn't give you the assists. So yeah. Tony, so this Man City game, I'm going to put you down. It's a loss. Okay. Oh, wow.
I was waiting for the suspense.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Wow.
Hey. Right. Okay. All right, guys. So is everybody happy with their points, or does somebody would need to change?
You know what?
I want us to beat Tottenham. I'm going to go beat Tottenham and lose against City. That's the only game we'll lose in that run. Right.
So Danny is going to bump up Tottenham. And so Danny now is 27. He's the highest out of all of us. Wow, Danny, that's awesome.
I'm going to change my Wolves to a win.
What?
Oh, now Ebony's in 29.
So Ebony's now jumped ahead of 28.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I think we've got the impetus to beat Wolves. So yeah.
Wolves are terrible at the moment.
No, Tony, but I said to you, next week they're getting back Neto and Jimenez. They can't score goals.
Yeah, but they're still not playing good football.
They're playing bad football, man.
That's what I'm saying. You know, you take out Saka and Jesus out of Arsenal.
How many goals have Saka scored?
5. And Jesus 5. Yeah, it's the Wolves are hurting right now. Wolves are hurting. Right, guys. So that is it. We're going to come back to that. Once I get the other guys' figures, I'm going to put them up. Let's have a look here. Hold on a second. Once I get the other guys' figures, I'm going to put them up. So let's open the floor up for 5 or so minutes.
I think the only thing I would change off that is 1 goal for the top goal scorer, 17. That's the only thing. I don't think 18.
Yeah, I did think about that. It's funny you mentioned that. I did think about that at the point. So I think everybody was being. I mean, I don't really want to mess around with the goal scorers and the positions because that was kind of set in stone. But I think that's where I agree with you. I'm out. I was out for that as well. I just want to go around, guys, and ask you who's been your top 3 players so far this season. Starting with you, Vincey.
Saliba.
Number 1 or number 3?
Number 1.
Good shout.
Ben White.
What?
Who?
Ben White.
Okay, fair enough.
Wow.
Fair enough.
Who's my dark horse, you know? Who's my dark
You know
horse still? I agree with that. Yeah.
Thank you. Because when Bertram and Tony was nailing him to the wall in the first game, I said, "You guys must be drinking something." And
He's
for
number 4 for
hold,
me.
for a man to hold Zaha to nothing, yeah.
All I'm gonna say is
Respect to that, Vincey.
you're now missing out 2 players that you're missing on 2 players, right? The first one is rock solid, but you're now left yourself 1 choice, which means 1 player that you're leaving out of your top 3 is a crime.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you the reason why I'm doing it is expectation. Yeah. So expectation is everyone's going to want me to say Jesus, but if I'm saying Jesus, I'm expecting more than 5 goals. So my expectations for the top players so seasons, he can't be in the top 3 because I need more goals. So I don't need more. I need less yellow cards, more goals. So in that regard, I'm going to go with Xhaka.
No.
Wow.
And the reason why I'm going to go with Xhaka is, again, I didn't expect him. I didn't expect him to be playing the way he's been playing this season. Martinelli, love him. You know, I mean, he's going to have a great season.
I would have put Martinelli ahead of Xhaka. Xhaka's probably 5th or 6th on my list.
Still need more goals for Martinelli. You know, when you look at the opportunities that he's had, I still need more goals from him.
Seriously.
I'm serious, man. Listen, we went into
this. Said what he said, man. He said what he said, innit? Like,
listen, guys. I'll tell you the reason why. We went to the season saying Partey has to play. Yeah,
I don't want to hear it.
No, seriously, straight up, Partey has to play, but alongside him, look what's happening in the midfield.
Alongside him. Nobody plays alongside him.
He hasn't mullered us.
Tony, don't worry. Tony, your turn is coming up soon. Danny.
I'm giving him props, man.
Danny, who's been your top 3 players?
I'll just start with number 1, but now I'm going to start with number 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Granit Xhaka.
You know what? I can't. The one thing that I don't understand, right, is how. Anyway, all right, okay. Let's carry on.
No,
put Andrew's comment up.
Granit Xhaka is the most improved Arsenal player I've ever seen in Arsenal's history. I've never seen a player.
Oh, yeah, go on.
I've never seen an Arsenal player get so good from being so bad. I've never seen that turnaround. I maybe even a football player, full stop. I don't think I've ever seen a player be such a massive liability to such a good player for the team.
Right.
He's in the central part of our team this year.
So I'm not going at you. Yeah, you know me. I've got respect for everybody on the channel. So and I always believe that your opinion is what matters. That's why you're here. Yeah. But.
Apollo, you have to ask questions, yeah? Why is Granit Xhaka getting man of the match? Yeah. You got to ask yourself the question: in these games this season, why is Granit Xhaka being awarded man of the match?
So first of all, let me explain that. I don't think that he got man of the match. I think because people are happy with his revival, it's more of a charity man of the match. Because when I looked in, because you can't say
that. There's certain games this year he's been unplayable. There's certain games this year he's been unplayable.
Guys, I don't like to get too much into this because people know how I feel about the player, but I'm talking about in the game. We know which game it is we're talking about. And I gave
wait a second. Is this 101 on agenda or what? Is this 101 on agenda or what? Is it 101 on Arsenal?
So who's number two? Who's number two?
Now, real talk, yeah. Like it could have been this top three could have been a multitude of Arsenal players because they've all been amazing. Hence why we're so high up. I could even put Gabriel in there, and some people will be fuming at that. Innit? I'm putting Xhaka there, not charity or nothing like that, just because of the improvement in him. Like he's become an integral part of this side.
I didn't even get my point out though, bro. But
sorry, go on, Apollo. Go on. Say what you're saying.
No, I'm talking about when in the game that they gave Xhaka man of the match, I gave Partey man of the match. And when we looked into all the analytics, Partey's stats in that game blew everybody's stats out the water. I checked. I think the game was on Sky, but then when I looked at BT Sport, when I looked at Squawka, when I looked at Opta, when I looked at BBC, they all gave man of the match to Partey, which is what me and Tony gave man of the match to. So when you hear me say charity, what I mean by that is the fans are so happy that he's turned it around. They're going overly in, yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. He deserves it, yeah, because he has picked up his game. But my problem is, like, I see the best player on the team right now being someone who no one's even talking about, and that is statistically fact. And you've got to put in the case of Saliba, so I accept that, and I probably even share that sentiment. Yeah. So for me, it's out of Saliba and Partey. But the fact is, the one game Partey missed, we fell to pieces. And I've seen him come and just control games. Like people talking about Xhaka's been playing really well, and he's come from nothing to something. But there's a difference between going from nothing to something, from going to something to the elite. And Thomas Partey is the elite. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And believe me, I go into the forums every day and I see floods of stuff about Xhaka and not a single thing about Partey. I'm thinking, what's going on? Do these people actually understand football? But anyway, it's all about opinions. As I said, it's football. That's what we're here for. But, you know, that's one of the things that I have addressed a couple of times. But look, my point was, Xhaka's turned it around. So, yeah, celebrate it. Shout it out. There's nothing wrong with that.
Partey is a better football player than Granit Xhaka without a shadow of a doubt.
All day long, mate.
But Partey has only played 6 Premier League games this season. Xhaka has played all 10. Availability comes into how valuable a player is to your team, you know. Like, because if you say you watch NBA basketball, Ben Simmons is rated as one of the best NBA defenders, right? Yeah. One of the best defensive players in the NBA, but he never plays, so he's useless. He's just eating up your salary cap. So the same thing with Xhaka. Xhaka is always available, so important.
I mean, that means he's bulletproof. That means he's bulletproof. I agree with that, but my issue with that
who's the guy that is our actual leader on the pitch in every game? Like, I don't like Granit Xhaka for the stuff he did in 2019. And you've heard me multiple times on this channel. I side with you normally, Apollo. But same way I did it with Arteta, I didn't like Arteta. Same way I did it with him, Xhaka, this season has been on points. He hasn't had he had one brain fart actually. That goal, I forget what game it was, where him and Saliba had him and Gabriel had the little mix up the Tottenham game. Yeah, that's when he had a brain fart. But that's because he's not supposed to be there. Since he's been moved out of the danger zone, he's a much more useful player.
Yeah, he's a better number 8.
Did you hear what you just said, Danny?
What? Yeah,
Did you hear what you just said?
Of course, I said it, but what you know about?
He's not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
He's a midfielder, and he's not
Bro,
supposed to be
look at
defending
what
in his own box.
happened to Man United when they put Christian Eriksen as a defensive midfielder. Look at what happened to them. They got ate up. Was it Liverpool that did them? No, City or something. I think it was City they played with Eriksen as a defensive midfielder, and they got 6 goals against them in the first half or something.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Hey, listen,
but anyway,
Tottenham are
2.
playing Eric Dyer at centre back, and they think he's the Mutt's nuts, and it's like Tottenham's are the only fans that can see that. Everyone else looks at him as a liability. Yeah, go on,
exactly.
Danny. So who's number 2, Danny?
Number 2 is Bukayo Saka. It could have been Saka, Jesus, or Martinelli, but I'm going Saka.
Respect to that. Enough respect to that.
He didn't start too well, though. You know, he didn't start too well. He was flitting in and out of games, but like he's really building that momentum, which is good for England in the World Cup. If you're an England fan, by the way.
Yeah.
If Southgate's clever enough to play him, which he never does. But anyway, yeah. So number 2, Saka. Number 1, everyone guess.
Well,
you know who it's going to be.
It's got to be Saka or Jesus.
No, Saka was number 2. Number 1.
Sorry. It's got to be Saliba or Jesus.
It's Saliba, obviously. Yeah,
Okay.
Man.
Excellent. Right.
Although our last game, Saliba was.
Yeah, I know.
That was his only dodgy game of the season. Gabriel was our better centre back in that game.
Did you see my player ratings? Oh, by the way, guys, I do apologize because on all the YouTube videos I do, the streams, I should have been putting timestamps on there and I didn't. So I actually put them on the last one. So the videos will now be timestamped, guys. Instead of you guys seeing a 3-hour video and having to flick around what's going on, now you can just hit the timestamps for the goals, timestamps for the player ratings, and that's my fault. I should have been doing that ages ago, and I've just been a bit slack. So I promise you will be seeing timestamps on there now. And that's exactly what I said in the player ratings. I said I gave Saliba, Partey, and Xhaka a 5, and Gabriel got 6.
So wait, you gave Partey a 5, yeah? And he's only played 6 Premier League games this season. How many times have you given Xhaka a low score this season?
A couple of times.
So he's had 8 good scores and two bad scores off you, yeah?
Over the average, I'm talking about the average because I keep a record of all my player ratings. And Partey's had pure 8.5s. I think he's had 1.7 and 1.5.
But I'm saying if you've given Xhaka 2 poor ratings and 8 good ones, because he's played all 10 games, and Partey's only played 6 games, yeah, in the Premier League, and you've given him a bad one. So that means you rate Xhaka higher this season than Partey.
No, I didn't, because that game where you said Xhaka was man of the match, I gave him a 7. I gave him a 7. So, I think this season the highest player rating I've given Xhaka was an 8, and the highest I've given Partey was like a 9.5.
Fair enough. It's subjective though. I would give Partey a 9.5 certain times, but yeah.
It is. I actually tried to do a thing where I would put all of your scores on the spreadsheet, but I just couldn't keep. I started working with it. I was like, how the hell is this going to work? So yeah, I only keep my own ones on record. Ebony.
Okay. I'm not even going to talk about Xhaka, although Xhaka has been sexy with regards to how he's actually played this season.
Tony's a meme right now. Look at him. He looks like a meme.
To be fair,
someone's got to take a screenshot.
Don't worry, it's recorded. It's on the channel, boy. I'm going back for that later. Anytime someone says something sus in the group, they're getting that face now. I'm telling you.
To be fair, he has actually impressed me, and he doesn't normally impress me. So maybe it's because he's moved positions and he's not so defensive. I don't know, but we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about
I'll take that boxing match all day long. Yeah, go on.
Right. So I'm going to talk about Tomiyasu. No one's talked about him yet. I think he's been impressive.
He has.
He's been great.
I think he's only started 2 games. Yeah.
But still, he's actually. I've been impressed with him, and I was impressed with him last season. And he's shown what he can do again. All right, last game he was a bit in the Leeds game. He went to sleep a little bit, but I've been impressed with him.
But the question there is, has he been better than Zinchenko and Ben White? And on the top of hand on heart, I've probably got to say overall, no. But I think his performance against Salah was probably one of our best defensive performances all season. So I do, but again, that's only one game. Yeah. But
my other player is Saliba. I mean, this guy, we've been crying out for a defender like him for years. And now that we've got him, he needs to we need to tie him down. Because I'm hearing talk about him going or at the end of the season and all that palaver, which, you know, I tend not to believe until I see it on Arsenal.com. But we've been crying out for him for years, and now we've got him. And this makes me say, and I always say, every time I see him play, I always say, why did we not use him last season? And there's talk about him not being ready, but you can see he was ready from the get-go, in my opinion. And my final player, and this isn't in any particular order, by the way. It's
wow. Okay. So, guys, I just want to say we've had 3 of our panelists, and no one has mentioned Jesus, and no one has mentioned Martinelli. That is...
but they're obvious, though. They're obvious choices. I'm moving away from the obvious choices.
Yeah, but the thing is, all that goes... No, guys, this isn't negative. This isn't negative. All that shows you is how good the team
exactly. Bro, I could have put any 3 players. I could have plucked 3 out of that hat, and I would have been happy with that, bro. Honestly.
Agreed.
So I'm just saying who I've enjoyed watching this season, and that's probably why I said Xhaka, because I've enjoyed seeing the turnaround. Like, I want our players to go. You get me, though?
Yeah, respect to that, man. Respect to that. Tony, TC, who's your number 3rd player of the season so far? It's tough, isn't it? Because, look, Martinelli, who by the way, he's manager. Martinelli's manager. Can you guys see the screen? Sorry, let me go this way. This guy is a client. Yeah, Martinelli's a client of this guy, and he didn't choose him. He's got 4 goals, 2 assists. He looks like he's on his way to double figures. He could even get 14 or 15 goals this season, Martinelli. And no one's talked about him. So,
should have more, man.
Yeah. Tony, you got the conch.
You're on mute, T.
Number 3 choice, I don't know. I think it could be anybody. But my top 2 are clear.
So before you give me your top 2, I just want to say on Amazon Sport, they've just awarded Bruno Fernandes man of the match. Thierry Henry is laughing his head off with the fact that they just blew away Spurs. Just the look on his face is absolutely hilarious. All right, Tony, carry on.
Oh, dear. So my top 2 is easy, because the 2 most difficult games of the season, one would say easily, Liverpool and Spurs. And funny enough, both players scored in one of them, at least in one of them games. So Thomas Partey and Saliba are easily head and shoulders above anything else in our team right now.
I've
said it before and I'll say it again. I will sell any player in our team for any amount of money except Thomas Partey, because we don't have another player in our team who can do the job Thomas Partey does. Quite simply.
Yeah.
And if I look in the top, the whole Premier League, I would say only Man City have got a player that can do that job.
I think he can probably walk. He can walk into any team in the league. I think he can walk into
Liverpool
City.
don't have that player.
Yeah.
Spurs don't have that player.
They got Basuma, but they're not playing him.
He ain't that player though.
Basuma ain't that guy. Basuma's not a transitional guy. He can't transition the midfield. Yeah.
There's no one else in the league outside of Man City who can do that job. Man City are blessed because they probably got 2 or 3 players that could do that job.
Yeah.
Saliba has been balling at a level, apart from the last game, that quite simply means you can't not have him in your top 3.
He'll win Young Player of the Year. If he doesn't win Young Player of the Year in the Premiership, then something's gone wrong. and
My
something
guys,
always
not
goes
only is he defending
They'll give it
at
to
an
Foden.
astronomical rate and doing things that basically are just making him stand out above Gabriel, which is a hard enough job on its own, but he's scoring goals.
That's the one thing I wanted him to do. You know,
He's scoring goals.
To score goals.
I
and he's
mean,
doing it.
I still can't get. I'll tell you this. I got my YouTube. I got my my Instagram done because I reposted BBC Sports clip of Saliba nutmegging Eric Dyer in the box, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't care because that guy, he's balling out, bro. He's balling out. Number 3, you could take your pick: Saka, Martinelli.
Well, we'll go
Jesus,
Martinelli because nobody's
Gabriel,
nobody's talked about
Ben
him.
White. I don't mind who you pick at number 3, but the top two are ballers, bro. That walk into most other teams. The reason
So who gets number 1?
Sorry,
Who gets number 1?
it doesn't really matter to me, number 1 or number 2. I mean, I hear what everybody's saying about Partey not playing games, but the 2 most important games of the season, he balled out like a mofo.
And he was the best player on the pitch in both games.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at Partey, you know. Like, I'm just saying my reasoning behind not him and the other guy is whatever.
I don't care what
But
you
you
say,
have
bro.
to pick a 1 and 2, bro. Who's
Yeah.
your feeling with 1 and 2? You have to pick 1 and 2.
You can't name me another player who's irreplaceable in Arsenal's team like Thomas Partey. I can find you plenty other strikers, plenty other wingers, plenty other centre backs, plenty other goalkeepers, plenty other wide outs in the right back and left back slot. Yeah, because Tomiyasu can do a job over Tierney. Yeah, Tomiyasu could do a job over Ben White. Ben White could do a job over Saliba. Tomiyasu could probably do a job over Gabriel.
He's right.
Eddie could probably do a job as comparable as the goals have shown.
Well, he has, because he's got
Gabriel
the same amount of
Jesus.
goals, and he's got the same amount of goals and the same amount of starts as Jesus
Right.
when it was 5 goals in 8 starts.
Saka and Martinelli, great. I love them, but I can't really pick one over the other. And they could probably both do each other's job.
So can I then just ask the question then,
But
based
who's
on
doing Partey's job? Please name
can
me one player who's doing Partey's job in our team.
Well, I hate to be a donut, but like we haven't had Partey in certain games and we've won them.
Yeah, but who
We've won
was we
certain
playing,
games.
bro?
Lokonga.
Man,
Lokonga have been good
What
this year.
team was we playing?
Yeah.
I don't know, but every game's hard, man. Look at Leeds. Like you think Leeds are relegation, but it's a hard game, bro.
So can I just ask?
Where are Leeds
you
in the
just said-
table, bro?
Because you said that because Nketiah scored the same amount of goals as Jesus, if you were to take Jesus and Zinchenko out of this team, do you think
No,
we would be playing the way we're playing?
No,
And
I
the
don't.
players that you're actually saying standing out would be those players that are still standing out.
So
No,
why
I
don't
don't.
you put them in your top 3 then, bro?
No, I'm not talking about the top 3. I'm talking about how they played in the top 3, but I'm just talking about what you've said in regards to
Okay.
well, Eddie,
Simple
you've just
scenario.
said you've just said, well, Partey's irreplaceable. Yes, Partey's irreplaceable when he shows up. Yeah,
And
when
when
he
he's not,
shows up.
we
No.
don't have that kind of
No,
play.
but when he shows up
Yeah,
and plays,
yeah.
he's irreplaceable. But we
Right.
haven't consistently seen that from Thomas Partey
You're not
in his
supposed to.
career.
You're not
And
supposed
also,
to, bro.
Look
You're
at the
not
games that
supposed
he's look. It's not about not supposed
A man
to.
ain't supposed to play 60
No,
games
no,
a
guys.
season.
Let's be real. This is the thing is where you can big up a player, okay, and you can keep it real, yeah. And I'm keeping it real with Thomas Partey because all of last
so how
season.
many games has he played out of 10, bro?
Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
All of last season, I heard a lot of talk about Thomas Partey,
Yeah.
and he was bang average. He said he was bang average for himself, and we were rating him, giving him high praise for large parts of last season. So when I'm looking and seeing, I'm looking at the player and saying, Thomas Partey can play at a level better than what you guys have seen this season. Right?
Thomas Partey is worth 2 Xhakas.
We know what he's worth.
Simple.
We know what he's worth. The point I'm trying to say look at the game. Hold on, Tony. What I'm trying to say is we're talking about how many games this season and performances. That's all I'm saying.
Bro, with all the best will in the world, Arsenal played Xhaka and El Neni together as a pivot, yeah? And Thomas Partey outplays both of them on his own.
Yeah, they have to get 2 guys to do his job because nobody can do it.
And when he's not on his form, what happens? This question I'm asking because
what game was he not on his form, bro?
Hold on. When he's not on his form, he still gets ratings that are not justified. That's my point. We're not talking about his ability. We're talking about what he does.
Do you know, I think the issue here is that with our team this season, players are playing the best they've ever played for Arsenal in multiple positions. You look at Granit Xhaka, you look at Thomas Partey. This is the most consistent he's been.
I don't agree.
Although I disagree with you, Vincey, I do think Partey has been better. Like last season, you know why?
I was just about to say that. I was just about to come in and say that last season, Vincent said that he's been average.
This is what it is with Partey. He's been getting injured, and it takes time. You look at Aaron Ramsey, people like that. When they get injured, or Walcott, they get injured, and then they'll be on fire. They get injured, and it takes a while to get them back to match sharpness again. And that's what
last season, Danny. Last season, when I saw Partey play, and this was more so December, I just thought there was nobody on the pitch like him. And I even took Tony to a game, and we were treated to a footballing excellence in the midfield that was never matched throughout the entire rest of that season.
When we played City a lot, he was unbelievable.
Yeah, I was about to come onto that. The game before AFCON at City, he was ridiculous. And then when he came back, he was even better. And then he got injured. And since he got injured, we never recovered. Never recovered.
Every year since he's been here, that's been the case with him. So that's why this season, I want him to have a run. And can I just make a point that people always say with injuries and stuff, I see a lot of pundits and a lot of fan channels and stuff saying, yeah, but what if Arsenal get 1 or 2 injuries? They've got a great 13, 14, 15 players. But if they get a couple injuries, and they always mention Partey, but why didn't they say that about Liverpool? Liverpool have not had any depth for the few seasons they've been challenging.
For years.
Yeah. And then the one season Van Dijk got injured, they fell off. Yeah. So it's been the case with Liverpool. But why are they now saying that about Arsenal? We're in the same situation Liverpool were. We've just replaced them. And when it comes to like Partey and Xhaka, you think about Saka even. He's never played this good for Arsenal. This is the best he's played. His evidence in his numbers. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of our players are performing better than they have done. Ben White, this is the best he's ever been. You get me? So a lot of players have stepped their levels up this year, and Partey is one of those. This is the most games in a row where I've seen him be like, oh my days, this guy is looking like his Atletico Partey. Do you see what I mean? That's why I say that with Partey. His consistency this season is better. Like he hasn't had any games off. And even against Leeds, you put him down, but I rated him quite highly. I thought he was all right in that game still. So
yeah. It's so guys, just to let you know, for my top 3 was Jesus at number 3, Partey at number 2, and Saliba at number 1. So I'll put them up on the channel and on the forum, just so that everybody knows that what our choices were. But as Danny said, it's all subjective, guys. It's what you think is right, and if it works for you, then that is what's really important, because that's what we're here for. We're here to see what you guys think and what your thoughts are. So the only question else I've got to ask you guys is just one more question, and this is a fun one, really. But what has been your favorite game this season?
Easy, Spurs.
I've got
same,
2.
but Spurs, man, all day long. Maybe Liverpool, but Spurs. It has to be.
Spurs and Liverpool, particularly Spurs.
See it there.
Vincey?
I think the fun game for me has been the Liverpool game. I think that showed character. None of us expected us to get a result the way we got the result against Liverpool, the manner we did it. I think everybody grew up in that game. The manager,
100%.
the players across the board, you know. And again, it's going back to what Danny said earlier on, and I said that at the start of the season. What happened at the end of last season, this young team needed it. Yeah. And this is why it's not about heaping praise and expectations. They needed to know that they need to fight, and put in and listen to what the manager is asking them to do and produce for the fans. What you're seeing this season, they're going to games and they're putting in performances. They're turning up against Liverpool and they're standing tall like men. That's what I want to see. Men, 90 minutes.
So you know what? I did have another game in my mind, and that game was Leeds, because we've been putting in performances every single game except for that one, and still won. And so, you know, your manager always says, you know what type of person you are, when you face diversity. That was the only diversity that I've seen. Adversity, sorry. When you face adversity, that was where you actually saw what this team was made of. But I will say that I've changed my mind and I've gone with Vincey. And the reason is because, and this is a very clear reason, every single team we beat, what did everybody say? Who have you beaten? Who have you beaten? Who have you beaten? Yeah. And when we beat Spurs, everybody said, that's a derby. You always beat Spurs at the Emirates.
Excuses.
So when we won the Liverpool game, which by the way was over a week ago, not a single person has come out and reiterated that remark of who have they played. No one's saying that anymore. Everybody's like, oh, okay, so that's what they can do. All right, we've seen enough. And that's almost tied a bow over it. And that's the reason why we've now got a target on our back. Because I'm sure everybody was expecting Liverpool, and I'm talking about not Arsenal fans. I'm talking about rival fans, pundits, everybody. They were all thinking that Liverpool was going to come in and bowl them over.
And you have to think about the fact that, you know, this time last year, you know, they would have capitulated.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see some pundits actually look at this crop of players and say they've grown up, they've matured, they're a year older, and they keep getting better and better. But no one's actually apart from one YouTuber, but no one's actually saying that.
And it's funny because it is the manner, because Liverpool are using, not only have we not scored a goal against them in the last 6 or 7 games, but we lose by an average. An average, guys. That means every single game we play is by a spread of 3 goals. It's not even you lose 1-0 or 2-1 or 2-0. You lose by 3 goals.
Yeah,
we get absolutely pumped.
To score 3 goals, to go to man, that second goal, we scored at vital times in the game.
Yeah,
and that's it's like you look and you think, rad, this team is really grown up. You know, we can look at the results and just think, okay, well, Arsenal top of the league, yeah, great. But you can see in games, you talked about that Leeds game. We didn't play well. We're away from home. We're missing chances. Saka missed a chance before he scored. And then the goal he scored, the cool finish, and you look and you think,
you can't.
Unbelievable finish.
Axel Wall against Bamford. Bamford's not an easy player to defend against. And man, we rode our luck. You've got to do that during games. And you look and you think, that's my team. That's my team.
You know, if you saw my reaction on the live stream, I went nuts. Do you know why? I think it was Tony Cox that mentioned it. That was on Saka's weak foot. And it looked like it was Podolski that shot that ball into the back of the net. I mean, the way he hit it, the angle he hit it on his wrong foot.
And he's normally terrible with his right foot, you know. Yeah. Normally that is going into Rose Dead, fam. That's going out of the stadium or something.
He did it a few minutes before with that chance. And I thought he was going to score with that. And that showed, well, actually, you can finish like that at that angle.
I didn't like that game though, guys, man. That game aged me. Like, you know, you said this team's grown up since that Liverpool game. And in that Liverpool game, that game aged me years, fam. Man. I was nervous from the first second to the last, man. But
Danny, that was the hardest stream I've done all season long.
And it's so nice to see 1-0 to the Arsenal.
Tony, how draining was that stream against Leeds?
You know, sometimes watching Arsenal is that it is physically draining, and that was, you know, we had too many of them games last year where you like literally finish the stream and you're like, I'm done. My weekend is over. So
Danny, go back and watch the stream, right? Click the timestamps.
When you lose a game. To have won a game and feel drained, that's some.
The Liverpool game was stressful as well, though, man. That was a stressful game as well, man. Like, but you know why I said
I enjoyed that game. I thought, you know what? I mean, I wasn't able to watch it live, but when I did watch it, I was like,
well, that's why, man. Watching it live, you don't see how much on top you are. You just see it's 2-2 or whatever. Like, it's stressing me out, because
I was just about to say, Andrews just said Saka's best moment, the penalty against Liverpool. Imagine the recollection of a miss. Actually, Andrew, there's a funny stat that says he's never missed a penalty since the Euros.
Yeah. And he's taken all of us. He's taken our penalties.
All 4 penalties that he's taken. And Thierry Henry said he took that, you know, everyone looks at him like he's a young player, but he said when he stepped up and took that penalty, that was a man's penalty.
Yeah. And they were trying to put him off. Van Dijk tried to slap the ball out of his hand and all sorts. There was that beef with. Anyone know what Jordan Henderson said, by the way? Because
they're investigating. Apparently they're getting a lip reader and everything.
Yeah, they should do, man. Because like,
what the incident between
Saliba,
Gabriel and Jordan. Jordan Henderson.
Well, if he could actually say that, then he needs to get off the pitch, basically.
Well, they're going to do a lot more than that. I mean, there's a reason why some people have stopped kneeling before the game in a minute's silence.
And he was one of the main captains that led that, apparently, the stopping of the kneeling. So that's the first thing that came to my head. I was like, if that is something racist he said, I'm not surprised, because it was him that was fighting for him to stop it.
Yeah, exactly.
Why was he stopping that?
It wasn't him, but he was the leader of the group.
He was the leader, yeah. Because there's a section of players that came out and said they didn't want to do it anymore.
Well, I think teams should actually do it if they want to. You know, they shouldn't be pushed into doing what they don't
at this time. Be anti-racist at this time, guys. Not any other time. You can't be anti-racist at 6 o'clock. You can only be anti-racist between the hours of 8 and 9 p.m. All right, make sure. That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man.
Somebody said Foden is 22 and he doesn't count for Young Player of the Year.
Nah, but maybe because that was last season. Yeah.
Actually, anyway. Andrew has gone with Saka is his number 3 player, Partey's number 2, and then Saliba. So yeah. It's hard to split them. Look, Danny said there is no wrong answer.
Anyone can play over this season. So.
But the fact that we're all not struggling, but the fact that we're kind of like deliberating a little bit is because we have a team now that we can actually look at and say we've got strength in depth.
Yeah, they're all good. And Saliba, Ben White mentioned, Xhaka, Saka, Tomiyasu got a mention, Martinelli, Jesus.
Last year, people were calling Ben White. Well, I'm not going to say the alternative.
Ben Sure.
Yeah, yeah. People saying that he was rubbish. Look at him.
I've been sticking up for him on this channel ever since. Like I said on the first stream in the first game when we beat Palace 2-0. I think there was a problem and I had to miss that. I think I missed that stream. And I came in at the player ratings and then I saw Bertram and Tony give him a 4. And I thought, that didn't look like a 4. He held Zaha without a goal. We blanked him. Zaha went on to score 4 goals in his next 5 games. Yeah. And he actually scored again this past weekend. So he's got 5 goals this season. And I'm thinking, Ben White shut him out and he gets a 4? And then I started looking at Ben White's games over the next weeks, and that's why I put a video up on my channel talking about Ben White. I said, "Ain't nobody talking about Ben White. What's going on?"
The only issue we had early on was he wasn't overlapping because I think he was scared of his pace. But then in the last 5 games, he started to overlap, and
Agreed.
now he's a native right back. He don't look like some. His lack of pace as well, even though he's not slow, but he's not fast, is he? Like his lack of pace in that role, and to be doing as well as he is mad. Like he deserves all the credit.
But remember what I said though a couple of months ago. He played half of his games for Leeds as a right back, and also in the 37, because remember he only had 37 starts for Brighton. He wasn't with Brighton for very long. In the 37 starts he had with Brighton, 7 of them were at right back. So it was quite evident, and we knew that, didn't we? We knew when we bought him he could play in either position, just like we knew Tommy.
Did he play CDM for Leeds as well? He played central mid.
Yeah,
so when we're talking about if Partey gets injured, we've still got Tomiyasu there, you know what I'm saying? And then we've got Cedric as cover for Tomiyasu. So I would consider doing that with Ben White if needs be. If we need
it's funny. We never did that with Callum Chambers. You know, Callum Chambers played. I remember we sent him onto loan to Fulham.
Yeah, and he won player of the season.
He won, one player season. He had more tackles and passes intercepted than any player in the Premier League. And he was playing I think it was I think there was 13 games. No, not 13. Was it 13 games? No, it couldn't have been that high. I think it was about 8 games he started as defensive midfielder.
No, bro, that season he played nearly all his games as a midfielder.
Yeah. So it is 13. Then
he won player of the season, their player of the season for being a central defensive midfielder.
That's right.
But Callum Chambers there's levels between him and Ben White, right? Callum Chambers can't make the Villa team, let alone the Arsenal team. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Can I just go back to the game of the season? The reason I picked Spurs is because I can't think of the last time we absolutely crushed them like that. They got a goal from a penalty.
Yeah, last season, wasn't it?
Crushed them. No, but we didn't crush them. We didn't dominate them. We didn't dominate them how we dominated them this year.
I think we did. Remember, we were beating them 3-0. Saka scored, Smith Rowe scored, and then Kane got a consolation goal at the end of the game. We dominated them.
They didn't deserve that penalty was because of an error. It was an unforced error. Other than that, they had no real chances. Son went missing. That's another player. That was another player that Ben White needs his credit for as well.
Yeah, I agree.
With Son. He's dealt with Son. He's dealt with Zaha. He's dealt with so many good left-sided players. He dealt with Diaz, from Liverpool. The players he's marked out of the game this year has been marginal, bro.
Yeah, it has. So look, guys, number one is we know the issues with Partey, and that's the reason why they were dying to get themselves a defensive midfielder before deadline transfer day. So one can only believe that when the new year comes, they're going to go right back into doing that. It's not going to be Douglas Luiz, from what I'm told, because he signed an extension last week because Villa now want 50 million for him. So it's obvious. I think they've had the conversation, but I don't think that was a good conversation, because if you know you can walk away for free in 6 months time, and you can sign a pre-contract with any team in Europe for nothing, then what do they have to gain for him signing that extension?
His girlfriend plays for Villa, isn't it? Newman,
so no one's going to be buying him because he's not as good as Paqueta, and Paqueta went for 38 million. So it's just foolishness. You're not going to spend 50 million on a guy like Douglas Luiz. It's just not going to happen. So
I've told you who I want. Spend the money. It's going to be worth it. I'm telling you.
On who?
120 million.
Who? Jude Bellingham.
Milinkovic-Savic.
Oh yeah, he's a big
not 120, bro. If you're gonna spend 100 mil, go get Jude Bellingham from Dortmund.
Bro, listen, this team ain't gonna spend 100 mil.
Who's more attractive now, Liverpool or Arsenal?
I'll tell you who's more attractive. Well, I think right now it's and everybody's seeing the end of a dynasty and the beginning of one. Although Man City,
And if you're a young player, if you're a young English player, like the age Bellingham's 19, you've got your mate Saka there, you've got your mate Emil Smith Rowe there that you've been playing with
it's
for
Arsenal.
years. Yeah,
it's Arsenal. Yeah,
of course. So if you're going to spend 100 mil plus, go for Bellingham, man. Like we could take him off Liverpool easy, and plus he's a Brummie lad that gets to live in London. Like that's attractive as well.
But here's my problem, Danny.
Like London.
Here's my problem, and over the last week on the forum on YouTube channel, I've been saying what Arsenal need to do in the new year is re-sign Martinelli, Saka, and Saliba. That is where if you give me 100 million, that's where my money's going first. Then I'm gonna go and look for I might find a midfielder to back up Partey. I might get lucky, but those 3 players, you have to remember, guys, they had 2 years left on their deal. January's coming soon, you know. So that means those players have got 18 months left on their deals. You have to sign those players back fast. Yeah? Get the deals done. Saliba,
we're already negotiating though, Colin. We're negotiating with all 3 of them. So I say that's a side because there's a rumor that the Cronkies are going to put some money in January. I'd say they know about that. You've seen how it works now on All or Nothing. They're all in the loop, yeah. So who's that guy? Is it Tom Lewis or something at Arsenal? Dave Lewis or something, the American guy that is like an non-executive director.
Oh yes.
Yeah, him. He's their guy in the UK, so he's the link between them and the UK. So they know everything that's happening. They'll know about the contracts and money for transfers. I don't know if it's going to be 100 mil, but we definitely, Apollo, please, man, we need a midfielder. Like we do. Because what Tony was saying earlier was actually true. If Partey goes, we've seen what the other options are. I'm not feeling Lokonga, the shit he's been talking. I'm not feeling none of that stuff he's been talking about.
Not even on
any. He's going to leave at the end of the season if we don't play and all that. Who are you, bruv? Who are you, cuz? No, frankly. And I saw him say it, so it's not newspaper stories. He actually said that.
He said
come
it,
on, man. Come on, man. Come on.
I mean, there was a guy, you know, one of the agents told me that Zinchenko, if he was fit, would have replaced Partey in the midfield as a number 4. But let's just get a replacement.
That's an option. That's still an option. But he looks like he's struggling for fitness this year, man.
Yeah.
It's better than El Neni, and you get me? Like,
I think El Neni plays well when he actually.
He does. But for Ukraine, Zinchenko is elite.
He's elite, man.
For Ukraine, he's their best player in centre mid. He's their best player on their team.
Tony, who did I say to you was the most intelligent player on the team?
Zinchenko, man. Zinchenko, innit?
He's footballing IQ. It's on a different level, man.
But then defensively, that's why I'm a bit sketchy with him replacing. I'd rather him replace Xhaka when Xhaka's unavailable.
By the way, Danny, if you're a man that likes memes, then Zinchenko is a meme machine. His looks are just crazy.
Yeah, when we scored that goal and he was like this for about 5 minutes, he was like,
that was mad.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, excellent, guys. Right, closing comments, guys. Everybody's happy so far with their grades and everything. So, Vincey, let me just go to you. What are you most looking forward to right now leading up to the World Cup? We've got 4 games left. All 4 of them winnable?
Yeah, they're all winnable, but I'm just enjoying the youngsters mature, man. That's, you know me, man. If you're maturing and you're playing ball right, we want to do a good thing, and these guys have got it. So just more of the same. It's going to be difficult these next 10, I believe, but more of the same, man. I'm just loving what I'm seeing.
Excellent, guys.
Are you that?
Yeah, boy.
Are you
I like that.
Smile,
Whoa.
look at the smile.
Greatest
And then
woman
you
of
got
all
Spencer Fearon
time.
behind you.
Whoa.
Spencer Fearon right there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
You should have won, man.
Big time.
Looking apart,
You should have been top three.
I think so, yeah. I
He's
remember
amazing
yesterday.
these days.
You know he's an Arsenal fan, Defoe.
Yeah, most of them are. What do you think? What team do you think Harry Kane supports?
Arsenal.
Most of them are, man. You see, Darren Bent. The only reason why I
I like Darren Bent.
now,
I like Darren Bent.
Yeah, the only reason why I tuned into him now is to hear him talk about Arsenal.
Bro, how can you be at Spurs all that time, taking all that money off them, yeah, and the whole time you're a proper ride or die gooner, you know? He's a hard gooner, like. Jokes.
Yeah, so
too much, man.
Is it official?
Even Jermaine Defoe. Who's Jermaine Defoe's favourite football player? Do you know who that is? Do you know who Jermaine Defoe's favourite football player is? Who you were with, Tony?
Who's that?
Right.
Ian Wright, fam. Ian Wright.
Yeah.
He said it loads of times.
He calls him uncle, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, he calls him uncle.
Tim Sherwood.
Anyway, my closing comments are Arsenal right now, we're like co-star, you get me? Top of the table. We're a co-star on top of the table.
Cream of the crop, man. Cream of the crop.
Yeah.
Ebony?
Look, I like to be optimistic, but at the same time, I'm keeping my feet on the ground. But for the next 4 games prior to the World Cup, they're all winnable. We're going to win them. I believe in this team. I believe this team have grown up and they've matured now, and they can handle anybody. All right, we kind of defaulted against Man United, but then again, the referee had a lot to do with that. But we'll soldier on.
I mean, could you imagine if we'd have won that Man United game? I mean, what we're seeing now is just crazy right now. Chelsea away is the only tough game. I mean, they're all tough. I've got respect for the league. But if we can go away and win that, Vincey, then the sky's the limit for this team. If you beat Southampton, Notts Forest, Chelsea, and Wolves, and then go to the World Cup, Vincey, what?
Apollo, I'm telling you now, there's one game left for me to watch this season. That's just got me intrigued. Is Arsenal against Man City at home, because I believe Arsenal can batter Man City, and that's the footballing game I want to see. Yeah, you saw.
But if they do that, they're going to win the league, mate.
But this is the point I'm saying. It's like we could play the way we played and manage it. But
look at Tony's face.
Another meme right there.
You're
on fire, Tony, bro.
Season, is to deal with Man City at home. If this team deals with Man City at home, you're gonna Arsenal fans are gonna be unbearable. They're gonna be unbearable on Arsenal 1-on-1.
Yeah, that's it. I'm all in.
You've seen last season what we could have done, and should have done.
Yeah.
If that happens this season, watch it. It's going to be
Vincey. If we beat City, I'm all in. You lot are going to be able to hold me back.
If we beat City, I'm buying everyone Nando's.
Yeah, but actually, you said that to me before, so you still owe me. That means you owe me 2 Nando's.
My man's got chicken away. But serious, man, that Liverpool game.
Cox is not convinced.
That Liverpool game, you saw how Arsenal fans just got alive.
Yeah.
Watch that Man City game. We go and you put a performance in against Man City.
Yeah.
Can I just say,
let me cut.
Before the Liverpool game, I'm sure everybody was apprehensive.
That's my point.
Everybody was apprehensive, and I kept telling people, keep the faith. We're going to win.
She did say that.
Keep the faith, but be realistic and be optimistic. But let's be realistic, guys. We have only played a third of the season.
Okay.
The real business under the season is yet to come.
Yeah.
Tony.
Well, the thing is, if you're looking to win the league, every part of the season is the business end of the season.
But let's be honest.
No. Listen, man, we were talking about 90 points. We were talking about 90 points. Hang
on. Let me break it down for you, sir.
Tony,
let me break it down for you, sir. Have we played any domestic cup competitions yet?
No.
Need I say more?
Well,
I want to see us play the kids. But
Tony, again, that applies to every other team, Tony. Everyone's all in it. It's not just
but look at the size of our squad, bro. It ain't big.
I hear you.
Remember
bro.
what I said about Liverpool? Remember what I said about Liverpool? Remember what I said about Liverpool? They've never had a big squad. Man City.
That's a
they've
joke
got-
that you said that, bro, because they've always carried 6 strikers as a bare minimum.
Yeah, but who are they?
It's the
But
defense that's
who
in
are
trouble,
they?
though.
Give up Origi
Yeah.
and man like
Hang
that.
on,
Like,
are you telling me that
Nketiah is
you
better than
think that
Divock Origi.
the fact that they had Sterling,
Who
they
Liverpool?
had
No, that was before they started challenging for the title. That was under Brendan Rodgers.
but the point is they've always had it.
No,
But
I'm
their
saying,
problem is
Players
they-
around with strikers.
The problem
Nah.
is
Right
they've never
now,
had it in the
they
midfield,
got
the
Darwin
defense.
Núñez, Luis Diaz, Jota,
And no-
Salah,
And no midfield,
Firmino.
Tony. And no midfield.
They don't need it. Have you not listened to Bertram long enough?
Emil Smith Rowe,
Well-
Saka, Martinelli, Jesus, top England scorer of all time,
Yeah.
Eddie Nketiah. 5
Well,
players.
I'm
Fine.
looking at the league
How
now,
How
it's
long
not
have we
like they
been
need it
playing
to
with
be.
that, bro?
But I'm saying, it don't matter. Liverpool
So,
didn't
Tony,
play
are you
when they
saying
came
that-
when they came to the fore. Yeah, when they came to the fore, they hadn't played like that ever in the Premier League history. Hence why they had a challenge all that time under Brendan Rodgers when they let it slip, and then under Klopp. Yeah, after 3 years of
I
Klopp.
hear what you're saying, bro, but they play for 6 strikers who interchange and do the business at the end of the day. They've had a killer. They've
We got
had
5 players,
2
man.
killers. I didn't even mention Sadio Mane. They've had 2 killers over a 10-year period. I'm talking out and out killers.
Well, let's see how that works now, because their problem has always been in defense.
6 strikers.
Yeah.
6 strikers.
So Tony, are you saying
Núñez ain't better than Mane, man? Núñez ain't. They've downgraded.
Doesn't matter,
in the
bro.
striker department.
You're still
Oh.
dealing with killers.
Hold on, guys. Let's hear what Vincey's got to say.
I was going to say, so Tony, are you saying that Man City game is going to be in and amongst an FA Cup or League Cup fixture?
What I'm saying is, be realistic, boys. When the Champions League gets to that stage where they drop their teams into the Europa League, and you end up having to play Juventus, Barcelona, possibly Man United are in it anyway, but you can see already certain big teams are about to drop into that Europa League.
Yeah.
So that Europa League suddenly turns into Champions League 2.0.
Yeah.
But guess what, Tony? If we're top of the league around that time already, or we're hovering around and looking like we can challenge for the title, I can see the whole point would be to F that off a little bit, keep playing your other, let people get experience, because we've got a chance of winning the league. There will be a priority system there, and we might sign in January. We also that won't be till after January. You get me? So,
bro,
Winning
if we lose a winger, if we lose a winger right now, you're playing Reece Nelson.
Marquinhos.
I tell you. So, guys, look. Has anybody else not had their closing comment? Because match of the day is on, and I want to jump on there and watch that. But I just want to say a big shout out tonight, guys, to Arsenal women who have beaten the current holders, Lyon, 5-1.
How Beth Mead didn't get Ballon d'Or is a joke thing.
Oh, that's a joke. Yeah, that's a joke
thing. She should have got.
All right, guys, listen, we're done here at 101. Thanks for joining us today, guys. I appreciate the love. Danny, thanks for coming back. And I hope to see you a bit more. I know you've been a bit busy, man, but you know how these things are, man.
Super
for real, man. Good to see you guys. Vincey, thanks. I know you've been busy, Vincey, so thanks for coming up to join us. I'll speak to you guys.
Keep up the good work, man.
I know. Ebony, I'm coming for that Nando's chicken, Ebony. I'll speak to you guys later, man. Cheers. Thanks, everyone.